Welcome, everybody. It's great to be in Atlanta. It's great to be at the CDC. It's great to be hosted by the president of Emory University, Jim Wagner. I want to say thank you to Jim. He is not only a great host of this meeting, but a great vice chair of this commission. And good morning to my fellow commission members. I am Amy Gutmann. I am chair of the Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethical Issues and also the president of the University of Pennsylvania. I have to say it's beautifully sunny here today with a gorgeous view. Where I come from, I'm told it's raining, so it's particularly nice to be here. Before we continue, let me note the presence of our designated federal officer. I think of her, and we think of her, as our executive director of the commission, Lisa Lee. Lisa, please stand up. Thank you. I also would like to ask bioethics commission members to introduce themselves, beginning, if I may, with Dr. Hauser.
Stephen Hauser, University of California, San Francisco, neurology.
Christine Grady from the NIH Clinical Center, Department of Bioethics.
Nelson Michael, an HIV/AIDS researcher from the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research.
Barbara Atkinson from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the planning dean for a new school of medicine.
Exciting.
Dan Solmacy, the Department of Medicine and Divinity School at the University of Chicago and the McLean Center for Clinical and Medical Ethics. And I would note, amazingly, our 17th time introducing ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, see. 17 time, but technology still hasn't caught up with me. Nita Farahani, professor of law and philosophy at Duke University and the director of Duke Science and Society.
Too many on.
No, I don't think so. It goes.
No? Same problem. Raju Kuchalapati, Department of Genetics and Medicine at Harvard Medical School.
Anita Allen, Vice Provost for Faculty at the University of Pennsylvania, Professor of Law and Philosophy.
And I'm John Harris from the University of Virginia.
Thank you. We were just teasing on how many. I'm known for drinking Diet Coke in the morning, but one is. Thank you very much. I will not. Would anyone like a Diet Coke on the commission? So during this meeting, we will continue our work in response to President Obama's charge to review the ethical issues associated with neuroscience research and the application of neuroscience research findings. This is part, but it also goes beyond the President's BRAIN initiative. We were asked to be part of that initiative, but as being part of that initiative, our charge is actually to think about the ethical implications of neuroscience as well as the ethics of neuroscience research. So last month, in response to the charge and our own, frankly, pre-existing desire to look at neuroscience and its ethics, we released our first of two reports entitled Gray Matters: Integrative Approaches for Neuroscience, Ethics, and Society. And for those who have not yet seen it, you should rush out before it becomes a bestseller. To help it become a bestseller, it's available to download at bioethics.gov. Our report's analysis and recommendations focused on the importance of integrating ethics in neuroscience research from the outset at all stages of a research project. So if you want to think of two words that characterize the themes of the report, it is integrating ethics with science, so integrative, and proactive, doing it proactively, doing it before mistakes are made. It is virtually impossible to predict where an ethical mistake will be made. What it is possible to predict is that some ethical mistakes are likely to be made if researchers don't take account of ethics in a proactive way. So we were very strongly supportive of having an integrated approach and a proactive approach to ethical practice in neuroscience. And that means that people who are trained and teach and do research on ethics should work with those who are most expert at the science itself, so that neuroscientists can feel comfortable in integrating ethics in their research. And as a byproduct of our recommendations, we think that will minimize the need for new regulations in this area. Regulations tend to be abundant, and they tend often to go beyond what any cost-benefit analysis would warrant, although it's very difficult, I should hasten to add, to do cost-benefit analyses of these. So we are now turning our attention to the ethical and societal implications of neuroscience research and its applications more broadly. A strongly integrated research and ethics infrastructure, as we recommended, will be well equipped to address these ethical implications. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to explain, as I always do, how we will take public comments at this meeting at the registration table and with all the staff members of the commission. We have cards, comment cards. Would the staff members of the commission stand up and wave your cards? Happy to pass them to any of you. Just ask them for one. Write down any comments you have on one of these cards or a question you have, and Lisa or another member of the staff will pass them up to Jim or me at appropriate times. All comments, whether we read them or not, at the meeting, we will read and take into account, and if you have questions, we will try to get back to you on them. With that, would our Vice Chair like to say a few words of introduction, please?
I would indeed, and again, welcome to everyone. Welcome to the commissioners. Our most usual venue is Washington, D.C., but it's been great over the years that we've been able to travel all around the country, and it's good to have you back in Atlanta. To our guests today, welcome to you. Special thanks to those who will address us as experts in their field. And special thanks to you, Amy. As Atlanta is home to Coca-Cola, and Emory is such a big beneficiary of that, I am pleased that you're having 2 Diet Cokes in the morning. I think it's terrific. Volume 1 of Gray Matters does indeed seem to be a hit. As you say, it says, Commissioners, I think that we're on the right track. We move, as Amy said, in this session to ethics in research and applications of neuroscience. I don't know about you, but as I look over the agenda and read the materials, I am impressed with the breadth of scope of what we're going to hear over the next day and a half, from the needs and promises and even a little bit of the hype for potential neuroscience research and applications as they might address moral and behavioral and cognitive disorders and enhancements at different ages, at different stages. We'll talk a little about how we go about pursuing research to ensure ethically appropriate consent, and what do we do with the data from these kinds of studies, all coupled with the issues that arise in tandem with the promises of new technology. I think while we have a very specific charge from President Obama, it's helpful for me every now and then to step back and remember the large charge that he gave us years ago was to help ensure progress and to help ensure that the progress and benefits are secured in an ethically responsible manner. I think we've upheld that, and I think I believe that we have upheld that strongly, and I'm not concerned about the breadth of information so long as we understand how it is that this broader assignment can be pursued in a way that I think sweeps all of those things in. So I'm very much looking forward to the testimony today and to our discussions in the next day and a half. Again, welcome to Emory.
So what we're going to do in this first session is deliberate as a commission around 2 working groups that we set up among ourselves. These working groups have engaged in prep work to inform the Bioethics Commission's discussions and deliberations. One working group is the Research and Integration Working Group, and that's focused on the first part of our charge, that is to identify proactively a set of core ethical standards to guide neuroscience research, and the second working group we call the Applications and Implications Working Group is focused on the second part of our charge, which is to address some of the ethical dilemmas that may be raised by the application of neuroscience research findings. In some sense, you can think of it as the input and the output of neuroscience, the input of the ethics that goes into the research, the output, which is what are the challenges to our everyday understandings of ethics, and what are the ethical challenges to the neuroscientific understandings that come out of brain research. So in the first session, we'll hear updates from both working groups, and John Aris will start us off with an update from the Research and Integration Working Group. And what I would ask John, you, and then Steve, is to give a brief summary and open it up to discussion. I'll moderate the discussion and be the devil's advocate or the agent provocateur, as the case may be. John.